Often when we are on the hunt for something new, whether it's homeschool related or not, we ask people what their favorite blank is. What's your favorite history curriculum? What's your favorite restaurant? But often I learn just as much, if not more, by flipping that question around. What history curriculum don't you like? What math program hasn't worked for you? What restaurant do you always avoid? And that is the subject of today's collaboration. What didn't work for our homeschool? I am joining with several other ladies for this collaboration, so when you are done with this video, be sure to check out the playlist below so that you can check out what didn't work for other people. I'd love to know what hasn't worked for your homeschool. Leave me a comment below and let me know. I have 5 things I'm going to share today, 2 pieces of curriculum and 3 more broad topics. And the first thing that didn't work for us is getting curriculum and other homeschool advice only from those who have the same age kids as myself. Years ago, when I first started with Elizabeth, someone on a parenting discussion board that I was on linked to an education blog or to a homeschool blog. This person had the most detailed, thorough, jam-packed plans for her kids. And I don't remember their ages specifically, but they were like preschool and kindergarten. And several of the people who had kids my age, my daughter's age, she was, I don't remember, I think she was in first grade that year. Several people who had kids around that age, like, wow, that's great, speaking praise upon this blog's plan. Several of the other moms who had kids who were older were like, that is a recipe for burnout. And I didn't really get caught up either way exactly, but I remember thinking, maybe those older moms they don't have the same as high educational goals as this lady does. Maybe they're kind of, skimping out or whatever. Terribly judgmental. What can I say? I was still early on. But the older moms kept saying, it's a recipe for burnout. Don't try to do what she's planning to do. Sure enough, I think she made it 2 years of homeschooling. And then the mom posted on her blog that she was burnt out and her kids were going to public school. And most of the plans that she had made for those school years didn't happen. And it taught me a valuable lesson on why it's important to listen to older moms. When you have babies, generally your little group of friends are people who have the same age kids as you, kind of by default, especially with online baby groups and that kind of thing. Well, same thing can happen when you are homeschooling. It's understandable to surround yourself with people who are in the same stage as you. And there's a lot of good in that. There's also a lot of bad in that. So not surrounding myself with those voices as well was definitely something that I needed early on that I didn't do. Next one is a piece of curriculum, and it is writing with ease. Now, if you watched my channel before, you probably know that I love Susan Weisbauer. I love Well-Trained Mind and Story of the World, and there's so much I love. Now, in fact, I even enjoy this, but as far as making better writers, that was not my experience with writing with these. I heard people say if you do it, your children will naturally lead to better writers. Not my experience. I love this. In fact, Matthew will be using it next year. Probably not level 1, probably level 2. So for the copywork aspect and the exposure to different pieces of literature, I think it's fantastic. But as far as the goal of it helping to produce better writers, not my experience. And the third one is one that I learned long before I started homeschooling, and that is about forcing someone else's schedule or curriculum choices into yours. When I first got married, it was 2000, so the internet was still kind of in its toddler stages, and I joined several homemaking Yahoo groups, if you were around for those days, and I would hear people talking about, this is the best cleaning schedule or whatever, and I would try to follow these things, and they never really worked for me. And I realized it's because it's not for me. It's not designed to fit my life. When I became a homeschooler, again, I tried not to let someone else's schedule speak to me too much, but I did. Or when I would try to choose what other people were choosing for curriculum, because I really liked them as a person and I seemed to like their style of education. But when you do that too close to them, you're pretty far away from yourself. Now, randomly, you will get those times when someone else's curriculum or schedule works perfectly, but that is luck. Most likely it's not going to. You really have to let your own daily rhythm and your own your own school dictate what your schedule looks like for a day. So while it's really tempting to copy what someone else who you really respect, what they're doing, that has not worked for us. Number 4 is a science curriculum that I wanted to love. A few years ago, we were using NOEO biology, and it was a really good fit for us. But they didn't have what we wanted to do for the next year, and someone suggested elemental science for me. So, it's pretty similar, so we went for it. For whatever reason, elemental science has not been a good fit. The year that we used it, I ended up just doing a lot of my own plans. And it was, I used it as kind of a guide, but I didn't follow it too closely. But I had the electronic version and never printed it off. So I thought, well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe I needed to have the printed copy. And so this year we were going to do chemistry, and I decided to try it again. I found a set used and thought this is going to be perfect. And I did some extra planning, of things that I knew were kind of problems last time. It still didn't work for me. It's a great curriculum. I think I like it. I don't know. I just can't make it work for us for whatever reason. So, elemental science is unfortunately something that has not worked for us. I am going to try to do a more in-depth curriculum spotlight on this because I do think it's good. I don't know. For whatever reason, it doesn't work for me. Number 5 is boxed curriculum. And I'm pretty sure I have a video that I talk more about this. If so, I will link it up there and down below. Choosing boxed curriculum has just not been a good fit for us. In the beginning, I think it was kindergarten year, I tried using Hearts of Dakota. Someone recommended it to me and I really liked her. So first of all, that's where we're getting into that. But it looked good online. I thought there's just enough flexibility that I can choose this math instead of that math and whatever. And then I got it. And I really tried. But it just didn't work. I thought it was a really good way. It was laid out well. But, there was this subject that I didn't like, or this activity, and just one thing after another just piled up and steamrolled, but it looked good. Even when I got my hands on it, I thought it was going to be good. And as we were working through it, there was stuff that I really liked about it. But there was just enough stuff that I didn't, that it didn't work for us in the end. And that is one, as I understand it, at least at the time, that was one of the more flexible box curriculums. And since then, I've tried to make other ones work. I looked, and I just haven't ever been able to find one that I would really fit. Now, if I ever could, I would absolutely be willing to give it a shot. But so far, that's that. And a bonus one, because I forgot that I had one more that I didn't write down in my notes. And that is trying to use the same curriculum for every child. Now, I say that knowing that in today's homeschool world, I have the flexibility to choose something that fits better. 20 years ago, I would have just made everything work for the children because my choices were fewer. But since my choices are much more extensive now. I know that that's kind of a luxury that I have of choosing different things for different kids. With Elizabeth and Matthew, they have pretty similar styles enough that I could probably use everything the same for the two of them and it would work. But my middle child and Elizabeth, there is no way. I mean, very few things have they both used and enjoyed. Story of the World, I think, is about the only thing they've both used and enjoyed. All of them have used Explode the Code, but none of them have really enjoyed it. Other than that, yeah. They just have different styles and different learning needs and challenges. And because I like to find things that fit them better. There are a few things that I used with both of them, but modified them differently, like writing with ease. They both enjoyed it enough. I just adapted to each of their styles. And like I said, 20 years ago, I would have just done more of that. But since I don't have to, then yes, trying to force everyone to use the same curriculum is definitely something that doesn't work around here. So those are mine, not 5, but 6 things that didn't work for our homeschool. I would love for you to leave me a comment below and let me know what didn't work for you for your homeschool. Be sure to check out the playlist below. Go check out what other people have to share. And thanks for watching.